For professional advice with a personal touch, consult Fuller Landau, Chartered Accountants and Business Advisors. Click on flmontreal.com.
7:09 on CJAD. Welcome to today's Entrepreneur, presented by Fuller Landau. This is a program about the entrepreneurial spirit that drives Quebec business. My name is Dan Delmar, along with Fuller Landau's Josh Miller. How are you, Josh?
Excellent, Dan.
Great, and I'm really hungry at the moment, and I feel like our two guests this evening are going to satisfy my appetite just fine. Let's welcome George Kiris and Eric Doyle from In Foods. Gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now let's begin by talking a little bit about In Foods and the kind of products that you put out there. I'm already sort of salivating at the thought of what I'm going to have for dinner later tonight.
Sure. Well, In Foods is a Montreal-based company, just about 2 years old, fast-growing, with two lines of products. One is called In Snacks, which is a line of better-for-you snack alternative in the form of pita crisps, and also a line of frozen side dishes called In Cuisine, essentially frozen purees, and we just launched about 3 months ago a line of frozen risottos, which is what you're probably alluding to when you're saying you're salivating.
Now, this is new. This is the last couple of years, but you guys, this is not new in the food industry. Where did you guys get started?
Well, we got started about 10 years ago with a company called Europe's Best, a little project that started off in my kitchen with my daughters and my wife surrounding me. Europe's Best was a frozen fruit idea. Basically, what we did is we expanded on the Jamba Juice popularity at that time and extended that type of quality of fruits into the retail landscape. So we put great quality product in a good-looking bag. Taught people to make smoothies which was something about quick healthy solutions, and fighting obesity among children, and just making people's life a lot simpler and a lot easier.
Was this something that was always close to you? I mean, the food business, whether it's in the family, or was this just an idea that popped into your head one day and say, I'm just going to start something brand new?
My family started a company called Four Brothers Supermarkets 55 years ago. And, being in the business, seeing quality fruits and vegetables all through my life, I was always obsessed with that. Having the opportunity with a great gentleman named Platin Gabrielatos from Alaska Frozen Foods, who partnered with me at that time, and another great gentleman, Greg Shimandi, who came on board too a few years later. We surrounded ourselves with great people, and we were able to launch a great idea.
Now, Europe's Best, I mean, it's building a brand. How difficult is it? Like, what are the pitfalls? What are the challenges? What have you learned in building a brand?
Believe in dreams. I'll tell all Canadians that. Believe in your dreams. Believe that it's possible. Even when you look at a competitive landscape like we have in the food industry, believe in the fact that you can make it happen. I was actually telling a story earlier that, how Europe's Best, transpired. And basically, it was a mortgage on my house of $175,000, and that's how that company started. And Platin at that time put another $175,000, and with his support and his know-how, we were able to make this happen. But, at the end of the day, if you have a great product, you believe in your product, you feel like Canadians will believe in your product, so we have a great product. Bottom line, it's if you believe in your dreams, follow them, be resilient, and God will chart your path.
Tough to convince people? Did you have to find the right distributor or broker, or did you do it all on your own? What was the best first step or kind of leap with the right way to get into the doors?
When you look at the food industry, retailers here in Canada have been very, very supportive. I can tell you that here in Canada, and specifically here in Quebec, at that time it was Loblaws, Metro, and Sobeys IGA. All three banners got behind our project and really, really supported us. Supported the fact that we're a Canadian company. Supported the fact that we had a great product, and supported the fact that they wanted to be behind it and they wanted to help build a great Canadian story.
Now, is that something that these big box stores look for? I mean, it's still based on flavor, it's still based on taste, it's still based on look, it's still based on what they feel they can sell out the door. So there must have been a lot of effort and a lot of legwork and a lot of kind of research and development to make sure that the product itself was the best.
For sure, you have to really convince your client that the product you're going to be putting on their shelves is going to drive additional volume or attract a different type of clientele, the clientele that they're looking for. And Europe's Best did that, and with InFoods, we're doing exactly the same thing. We've got great quality product, and when you mentioned about building a brand, another thing I think that was really helpful for us is we never made any compromise as quality is concerned. Europe's Best was all about quality, and InFoods is really based on the same principle right now.
In a second, Josh, we should address not only building brands from scratch, but building two brands from scratch. It seems like a daunting thing to do, so I'll ask George and Eric from InFoods about that in just a moment.
For professional advice with a personal touch, consult Fuller Landau, Chartered Accountants and Business Advisors. Click on flmontreal.com.
7:09 on CJAD. Welcome to today's Entrepreneur, presented by Fuller Landau. This is a program about the entrepreneurial spirit that drives Quebec business. My name is Dan Delmar, along with Fuller Landau's Josh Miller. How are you, Josh?
Excellent, Dan.
Great, and I'm really hungry at the moment, and I feel like our two guests this evening are going to satisfy my appetite just fine. Let's welcome George Kiris and Eric Doyle from InFoods. Gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now let's begin by talking a little bit about InFoods and the kind of products that you put out there. I'm already sort of salivating at the thought of what I'm going to have for dinner later tonight.
Sure. Well, InFoods is a Montreal-based company, just about 2 years old, fast-growing, with two lines of products. One is called InSnacks, which is a line of better-for-you snack alternative in the form of pita crisps, and also a line of frozen side dishes called InCuisine, essentially frozen purees, and we just launched about 3 months ago a line of frozen risottos, which is what you're probably alluding to when you're saying you're salivating.
Now, this is new. This is the last couple of years, but you guys, this is not new in the food industry. Where did you guys get started?
Well, we got started about 10 years ago with a company called Europe's Best, a little project that started off in my kitchen with my daughters and my wife surrounding me. The thing, Europe's Best was a frozen fruit idea. Basically, what we did is we expanded on the Jamba Juice popularity at that time and extended that type of quality of fruits into the retail landscape. So we put great quality product in a good-looking bag. Taught people to make smoothies which was something about quick healthy solutions, and fighting obesity among children, and just making people's life a lot simpler and a lot easier.
Was this something that was always close to you? I mean, the food business, whether it's in the family, or was this just an idea that popped into your head one day and say, I'm just going to start something brand new? My family started a company called Four Brothers Supermarkets 55 years ago. And, being in the business, seeing quality fruits and vegetables all through my life, I was always obsessed with that. Having the opportunity with a great gentleman named Platin Gabrielatos from Alaska Frozen Foods, who partnered with me at that time, and another great gentleman, Greg Shimandi, who came on board too a few years later. We surrounded ourselves with great people, and we were able to launch a great idea. Now, Europe's Best, I mean, it's building a brand. How difficult is it? Like, what are the pitfalls? What are the challenges? What have you learned in building a brand?
Believe in dreams. I'll tell all Canadians that. Believe in your dreams. Believe that it's possible. Even when you look at a competitive landscape like we have in the food industry, believe in the fact that you can make it happen. I was actually telling a story earlier that, how Europe's Best, transpired. And basically, it was a mortgage on my house of $175,000, and that's how that company started. And Platin at that time put another $175,000, and with his support and his know-how, we were able to make this happen. But You know, at the end of the day, if you have a great product, you believe in your product, you feel Canadians will believe in your product, so we have a great product. Bottom line is, if you believe in your dreams, follow them, be resilient, and God will chart your path.
Tough to convince people? Did you have to find the right distributor or broker, or, you know, did you do it all on your own? What was the best first step or kind of leap with the right way to get into the doors?
You know, when you look at the food industry, retailers here in Canada have been very, very supportive. I can tell you that here in Canada, and specifically here in Quebec, at that time it was Loblaws, Metro, and Sobeys IGA. All three banners got behind our project and really, really supported us. Supported the fact that we're a Canadian company. Supported the fact that we had a great product, and supported the fact that, you know, they wanted to be behind it, and they wanted to help build a great Canadian story.
Now, is that something that these big box stores look for? I mean, it's still based on flavor, it's still based on taste, it's still based on look, it's still based on what they feel they can sell out the door. So there must have been a lot of effort and a lot of legwork and a lot of kind of research and development to make sure that the product itself was the best.
For sure, you have to really convince your client that the product you're going to be putting on their shelves is going to drive additional volume or attract a different type of clientele, the clientele that they're looking for. And Europe's Best did that, and with InFoods, we're doing exactly the same thing. We've got great quality product, and when you mentioned about building a brand, another thing I think that was really helpful for us is we never made any compromise as quality is concerned. Europe's Best was all about quality, and InFoods is really based on the same principle right now.
In a second, Josh, we should address not only building brands from scratch, but building two brands from scratch. It seems like a daunting thing to do. So I'll ask George and Eric from InFoods about that in just a moment. It's coming up to 7:15 on today's Entrepreneur. Let's head over to the CJD L'Équipelle Traffic Center. Traffic brought to you by Gibby's. Enjoy a delicious dinner at Gibby's Restaurant in Old Montreal and Saint-Sever. Free valet parking. With the latest, here's Kira Yeager.
And the rush hour is over and done with. There is something out there to watch out for, though. There is a right lane accident on the 15 North as you head toward DeCary North, and that is causing drivers to slow down. Only the left lane is available right now in that area to get through. An emergency vehicle is on the scene. That seems to be our only problem out there. Routes to Laval, the West Island, to the South Shore, they are all in good shape. If you happen to be out on the roads and you spot anything that is a problem, star 800 is the number. Update us. It is a free call with Bell Mobility. For over 40 years, the Club de la Médaille d'Or has been providing young athletes from Quebec with financial support. Help make their dreams come true. Become a partner or member. For details, clubmedailledor.ca. Montreal's most trusted traffic and transit every 15 minutes, only on CJAD 800. Your next report is at 7:30.
Feel the impact. Hear the impact. Major League Soccer is here. The Impact make history. The countdown to opening kickoff. Saturday afternoon at 5:30. The conquest begins. Exclusively on News Talk Radio. CJAD 800 and CJAD.com.
Les Résidences Soleil, your current lifestyle is respected. Whatever you enjoyed before, you will enjoy at Les Résidences Soleil. You can choose from so many activities, and of course, there are always lots of friends around. For your retirement years at Les Résidences Soleil, you're not just living, you're living the good life. Les Résidences Soleil. For more information, call 1-800-363-0663. 1-800-363-0663.
Rogers Small Business Help Center.
Hi. How do I keep my team connected wherever they are?
Get Rogers Smart Team Unlimited plan. Get unlimited Canada-wide calling and texting between team members.
Great.
And 2 gigs of data to share among your team.
This means we just went national.
With offices in...
hotel rooms across the country.
Get Rogers Smart Team Unlimited plan. $70.47 per line per month. Price includes all monthly fees. For details, call 1-866-ROGER-6.
This Saturday on The Travel Show, I want to send you to Cuba. Transat Holidays, together with Noli Tours, offer direct flights to Cuba, plus an unbeatable choice of resorts and excursions. Ask your travel agent for their brochures. Win a 7-night all-inclusive trip for two to the 4.5-star Iberostar Laguna Azul in beautiful Varadero, Cuba.
Phone into the show or go to chrisrobinsontravelshow.com. The Chris Robinson Travel Show, Saturday morning at 11 on News Talk Radio, CJAD 800.
Brought to you by Transat Holidays.
Winter is full of jazz, blues, and beyond. Don't miss Lee Fields and the Expressions, back after a memorable performance last year with a brand new album, Faithful Man. Two of the world's best acoustic guitar trios, Montreal Guitar and California Guitar, plus two-time Guitarist of the Year winner at the Maple Blues Awards, virtuoso bluesman David Gogo. Tickets on sale at MontrealJazzFest.com. The Jazz All Year Round series is presented by TD in association with the Gazette. For professional advice with a personal touch, consult Fuller Landau, Chartered Accountants and Business Advisors. Click on flmontreal.com.
718, welcome back to today's Entrepreneur, inspiring stories from outstanding business people. Dan Delmar, along with Fuller Landau's Josh Miller, and our guest this evening, George Kiris and Eric Doyon of In Foods. And we're talking about, George, the brand that you had before, Europe's Best. It's pretty familiar to a lot of Montrealers. You sold that business and now started In Foods from scratch. Tell us about the effort in building up that first brand and getting that name recognition out there. Then stepping aside and starting the same process again from scratch. It sounds exhausting.
It is exhausting, and it's no question it's challenging. We sold the first company. We actually went out into the market looking for investors to do our U.S. strategy. We had interested retailers in the U.S. that wanted to jump on board with our products, and we felt that we needed to the financial burden and investment that are qualifies success in the States is 10 times bigger than it is Canada, obviously. So when we went through the process of looking for outside investors for the U.S. strategy, we ended up having a strategic partner that bought the company out. Starting again really was really my daughter Sherry Akiris, who's really the if you ask me who the founder is, she's really the founder of this company. Who started with the recipes, who really developed all those great recipes by herself in Belgium. Our manufacturing plants are located in Belgium, and that's where we do all the manufacturing of our risotto. Our pita chips are manufactured in Milwaukee. State-of-the-art plants, the largest manufacturers in Europe, and the largest manufacturer of pita chips in the United States. And we only deal with those kind of companies because to us product safety is extremely important. But Sharia developed all these great tasting products, and you know what? She convinced me that she's my daughter. She's passionate like I am about the food, and convinced me and the whole family together that we should do this again. And I was very fortunate to be able to convince the old team of Europe's Best to come on board. Eric Doyon was with us at Europe's Best. So was Laura Calori, and we had Brian Burko. We've had a whole team that's been with us and supporting us with this new venture from the Europe's Best family.
Now, you must have had so many lessons that you learned and experience that you gained doing Europe's Best when you started within Foods. Did you came in with a knowledge from the past? What did you learn most from your first experience that you're able to apply here versus when you first started the original?
Great partners. You got to surround yourself with great people, and the team is key to your success. We have Eric and Phil Savastano and Eric, and we have Kelly McGuinness, who's our VP of Sales. We have great bankers. CIBC, which is an old team from HSBC, who were the bankers at that time, for Europe's Best, have been really supportive of our venture.
So you like dealing with bankers?
I love dealing with bankers. They're great people. When you have a real story, when you're transparent, when you believe in what you're doing, they're behind you and they support you 110%.
Transparency, that's important though when you're dealing, like as you started your business and as you were building it up and selling the story and selling the product and building the product, certainly you needed people to believe in you, And from a finance aspect, whether it was your partners, whether it was the bankers, there had to be a whole bandwagon or a whole, transparency so that they could jump on board.
In a moment, George, we'll take a quick break, but I'm going to ask you in a second how you convince the banks to believe in you, because I think that's an important tip that a lot of entrepreneurs might be curious about on today's Entrepreneur.
For professional advice with a personal touch, consult Fuller Landau, Chartered Accountants and Business Advisors. Click on flmontreal.com.
Welcome back to today's Entrepreneur. Our guests this evening, George Kiris and Eric Doyon of In Foods. And gentlemen, we're talking about dealing with banks, and you've had some positive experiences. Not everyone does. How do you convince a bank to believe in your business and to believe that you are a good investment?
Well, first of all, you need to have a great business strategy and a good business model that can show the bank that you're there to ultimately make money. Now, that doesn't need to be in the short run. But you need to have a clear path to where you're headed and to prosperity, basically, because at some point you're going to have to reimburse that money. But
did you have a written plan?
Not at first, but that comes pretty quickly into the fold. I mean, to get some startup money, you can, if as long as the entrepreneurs put in some of their own money, then you can get some support. But once you're starting to talk about serious money, you do need to have a written business plan, but more importantly, a good financial model. And it's not going to be straightforward along the road. I mean, once you put it on paper, it's always straightforward. But you're going to have some bumps during the journey. And what's very important, as George highlighted earlier, is to be transparent with your bankers and all of your partners around the table, basically.
Were the bankers the only financial partners in your life?
No, at Europe's Best we had different partners. Now that with In Foods, we did bring in also financial partners. We've got a great equity partner with us right now. They're called Fondation CSN. They're a labor-sponsored fund that have been very, very supportive of us. We really enjoy working with them, and that also by the same token, we have over 100,000 Quebec shareholders indirectly investing in our business, which is a great source of pride for us.
Is that an important business philosophy? I mean, when you're going into it, are you thinking, hey, we're a Quebec company, we want to make things great?
There's no question that we're proud Quebecers, we're proud Montrealers, and having the opportunity and having another a labor fund that's investing with us, who believes in our project, who believes in Quebec businesses and says we're with you to support you, to grow with you. I think it's a great story. I mean, you have a great bank with CIBC, we have the Fondation CSN, we have ourselves. And when you look around, you say to yourself, wow, I pinch myself. I can't believe what a great team we have going forward with this project. But ultimately, though, what's important is that the consumers love our product. And last week on Canada AM, we had Christine Cushing, who tried our product and not only fell in love with it, but the other young lady that was with her on that show fell in love with it. It is a great tasting product. When you try a risotto, you'll be flabbergasted how incredible it tastes. And that's one most important thing. Our pita chips, 70% less fat, great healthy crunch, great things for dips, great product to taste. And then when you look at our mashed potato, wow. I mean, who does not want to have a great tasting mashed potato without having all the fuss?
Clearly, product is number one. So the research and development, let's take a half a step back for a moment and talk research and development and a constant evolution. I mean, because at the end of the day, it's the product that's going to sell itself. You can have all the ambassadors you want in the world, but if it's not the right product that's going down people's throats, then you can only go so far. So how much involvement, you mentioned your daughter that did a whole bunch of research and got these products out. How much devotion do you have to research and development, not only at the beginning, but today as well?
All the way through as we develop new products. We started off with a pita chip and a mashed potato. We developed the risotto while we were in business. This is a continuing thing as you develop new lines, as you continue to really gauge what people really want. At the end of the day, consumers, and us being able to communicate to consumers our product lines and how great tasting they are, that's our biggest challenge. So marketing dollars is one of your biggest part of this business model, one of your biggest investments to building categories, because that's what we're doing. We're building a new category. As we do with the frozen fruits, we're building a side meal category in the Canadian landscape of food retail. And that is challenging to communicate so people try it and say, wow, this is an incredible product. I'm adopting it. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it with my family. Thank you very much, In Foods. We appreciate it.
You know, there's so much, Dan. First of all, the passion is unbelievable.
He's a great salesman, I have to say.
He's a pretty good salesman. Must be his hat. The In Foods thought process and the mindset and the research and development and the passion towards the product to make it go out there. Certainly the talk about quality and the safety, which of course is primordial in the world of food. That is crucial, and the fact that entrepreneurs in this business have to maintain that and make sure that they follow it is the way and the path to their success. And that's something we've clearly heard. And I think when we come back after the break, you know, we've kind of thrown around this marketing word and how do you get the people out there to test it, to try it. You know, they've appeared on Canada AM, so interested to hear their strategy in that respect.
Also, a bit later in the show, there's a new social network out there that businesses might be interested in. It's called Pinterest, and our social media gal will be along to talk about that on today's Entrepreneur.
For professional advice with a personal touch, consult Fuller Landau, Chartered Accountants and Business Advisors. Click on flmontreal.com.
7:35. Welcome back to today's Entrepreneur, presented by Fuller Landau, a program about the entrepreneurial spirit that drives Quebec business. My name is Dan Delmar, along with Fuller Landau's Josh Miller, and our guest this evening, George Kiris and Eric Doyon of In Foods, a fairly new brand, Josh, and talking about marketing now and how to sort of get this new brand going. And it'll be interesting to see in the coming years how big they get and whether or not they can equal the success of Europe's Best, their previous brand.
New product, you got to get your name out there because people got to trust you, right? You're not dealing in bubblegum here. You're dealing in a higher end food product. So brand image is huge, and which of course is all about marketing. Now, marketing is a huge word, but you know, I would turn to George and Eric and ask them, do you have a marketing strategy? What's worked for you, and where have you attacked the world?
Well, as a smaller company, you need to be nimble. You need to have a flexible strategy. Obviously, we have very good ideas of where we're headed, but we try and take advantage of opportunities as we see them, and adapt as we go along. We've used a lot of different strategies thus far to promote in snacks and in cuisine. Just as an example, for in snacks, the pita crisps lends itself very well for free samples. We've been giving away bags at events. We've participated here in Quebec, for instance, at IGA last summer. We participated in their free sample program. And by the same token, we got our bags in about 600,000 shopping carts during 1 week only.
Do you find that the big box grocery stores are your friend? Like, do they help out a lot with your marketing strategy?
We work with them as much as we can, and yes, they're very helpful. We try to be cooperative, and so do they. And at the end of the day, the consumer wins when we work together.
Although I'm sure they charge a fee for their marketing efforts that they try to help you with. Of course, if it's good for the consumer, it's good for everybody at the end of the day. But that's part of the cost of doing business, I would imagine.
Well, I wouldn't call it a fee. What I would call it is really negotiating on behalf of consumers, trying to get the lowest price possible, so they can offer a much deeper discount price to consumers on the specific products. We look at that as a marketing strategy, because we're saying to ourselves, consumers not going to try our products at a better price, and introduce our product line to consumers through that vehicle. There's no question that every single aspect of the business is based on marketing, and this is a marketing company. We searched the globe looking for great tasting products. When we find them, we introduce them to Canadian consumers, and basically communicate the message through different types of platforms of how great these products are.
Do you measure your marketing efforts? Are you able to measure your marketing efforts? Do you have any online strategies where you can kind of monitor let's say people listening to the shows, or anything that you would do to maybe measure some of the marketing efforts that you're doing?
There are some tools available out there to measure your marketing activity, but as a smaller company, again, we can't really afford to pay all of the expenses that surround that. This being said, when we do an online campaign, we can easily see how many people respond. When we do FSIs, freestanding inserts in circulars, that's another tool where you can measure your rate of success in the redemption rate that you get on coupons that you issue.
Do you have an idea, and do you focus more on, say, social media or print media or television media? Do you have kind of an attack plan, or whoever will?
Our focus tonight is on the radio media, and we're really happy. And we'd like to thank you guys for inviting us here tonight to be able to talk about our products. Different medias and different platforms serve different purposes. I mean, we talk about social media, and that's you have a guest here soon. That's an extremely important media, and we have a blog called IamInBlog.com, and that's what it's all about. IamInBlog.com is created by my daughter, and really communicates recipes, and and they interact with our consumers about our products, what they like, and discovering new ways to use our products.
Now, let's come back. George, before you talked about the team, the right team, the perfect team, a great group of people that is making this brand work, that is rebuilding this brand. With the group of people that you have, do you guys always agree with each other?
The whole idea of when you build a great team is bringing different facets into the team. It's almost like a hockey team where you have a goaltender, defenseman, and a forward. They all have a different purpose to your success. There's no question that if you all agree all the time, you definitely didn't pick the right team. Mm-hmm. The whole idea is to really have dialogue, to challenge each other, to debate things, and basically we have a very democratic system where we all of us have a vote, and if we're not unanimous, the project doesn't go forward. Well,
I have to disagree with you on that one, George.
Okay. just to prove the point.
No, but that's true. That's true. I mean, that's one of the great things about the dynamics of this company is that we allow ourselves to challenge each other as often as need be. So we make sure that at the end of the day we come out with the best idea and the best solutions.
When there is a dispute or a difference of opinion, we asked entrepreneurs this a lot, how do you resolve it? Do you go with a more democratic model, or do you go with a more autocratic model?
We really do go with a democratic model, and when I say that, basically, if there's a dispute, then we need factual information. Then we'd say, okay, let's start to really crunch these things. Let's find to really understand that you're committed to that position, and saying you're committed to that position, Josh. At the end of the day, we need to say to ourselves, okay, bring me the factual information. Let's all look at it together, and basically you're debating it, and at the end of the day, the facts will speak for themselves.
Now, so that means that your guys' roles, because you all kind of, as you said, you each play a role, you each have on a team, a different role on the team. Is that clear cut? You guys overlap a lot?
There's not too much overlap, but it's not, the cut is not crystal clear either, and that's the way we like it. Actually, we can pinch it. We can challenge each other on, even if it's not my turf. And George, will always kid me that what are you doing talking about marketing? Well, every now and then I do have a good idea, and they have to pinch themselves, but that's true. And same thing, he's got a great financial mind. He won't admit to it.
Absolutely not. But that's not true. Stroking me there. I just want you to know. It's because he's building himself up for more marketing strategies and inputs. The truth of the matter is, I have a financial genius as a partner, and I'm very, 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 very fortunate to have that next to me.
And just before we wrap up this segment, is there a vision? Do you guys share the same vision? I mean, we're here today. InFoods has been around with its product for a couple of years, but this is just the beginning. What's if you can quickly tell us what's the future? What's the vision?
We want to build a great company and great brands, and none of us are here to create what you call a lifestyle business. We're not there to start taking out dividends in the short run. We want to reinvest and then reinvest some more and create a great success story.
Where did the name come from, by the way, InFoods? How did you settle on that?
Well, in foods, it's again, in is about what's in today. We're looking at making people's life a little easier. We're looking at people want to eat a little healthier. The healthier crunch with our pita chips. There's no question about that. You giving to your kids a bag of chips, or you give them a bag of in snacks pita crisps. One's 70% less fat. One's baked, one's fried. Ours are baked. Their kids are going to still eat that bag. Might as well be a healthier bag for them. When it comes to the risottos are low fat. They're every single component of all natural and everything else. We try to fulfill our obligation to consumers to give them a great tasting product, but also not heavy on salt, not low fat, things that are important in their lifestyles.
And that's what's in today.
There you go. George is such a great salesman. I didn't even realize I was being sold to again, but I'm sold. 7:45, so George and Eric will stick around. Also in a moment, Stephanie Darwish from Fuller Landau will be in to talk about social media and a new social network called Pinterest that a lot of business owners might be interested in. Welcome back to today's Entrepreneur, inspiring stories from outstanding business people. Dan Delmar, along with Fuller Landau's Josh Miller. Our guests this evening, George Kiris and Eric Doyon of In Foods. And we also bring into the conversation Stephanie Darwish. She does social media at Fuller Landau. And Stephanie, we want to talk about something that we've been addressing on and off on CJD over the last couple of weeks with our tech guys. The fastest growing social network in history is one that a lot of people have never heard of.
Yes, it's Pinterest, actually. Pinning for interest. And I actually only got on it maybe 2-3 months ago because it is the fastest growing, not even social media site, fastest growing site in the history of the internet, you can say. Yeah. And what it is, just in a nutshell, is basically a visual bookmarking tool. So I'm browsing the internet at my lunch hour and I see a recipe I like. So I click the little bookmarklet called Pin It. And I can select an image from that site, and it bookmarks it, the picture itself, on the board I called perhaps favorite recipes of the day. And then I can share those pins. People can repin, much like a retweet, and people can follow my boards, etc.
So is this something, for entrepreneurs that are looking to get their, whether it's product out there from a visual nature, not just the name itself, but to associate it with something? Is this a site that really would accomplish that?
I think it's really good for brands who have a product to show. It's really nice so I know Whole Foods has a really great Pinterest site. I guess I don't know the nickname for it yet, but a Pinterest site. So if you go to Whole Foods, they'll have a board called vegetables, and it'll be fresh vegetables of the season, and it'll be recipes. So you'll see pictures of the recipes, and if you click the picture, it takes you to the recipe itself. But I think what's interesting mostly about Pinterest is the demographic. So it's 87% women, pretty much aged, let's say, 25 to 50. And that's really important to keep in mind for the brand or for the product you're selling. So I think for something like In Foods, groceries, mostly women do grocery shopping. This is very interesting. And if on your site it has a lot of visuals, people look at the In Cuisine risotto. They eat it, they like it, they want to remember it, they pin it, and then 50 of their friends repin it, etc. So that's how you really get the word out.
It sounds like a marketer's dream because it's so much about consuming what products and things people like. It's ideal to collect data, it would seem, right?
I resent it a little bit because I've what I think is good taste, and I like to go out and buy these stuff, and yet it's not aimed at me. It's aimed mostly at women. So that means I got to join this Pinterest site and join everybody else.
Yeah, I don't think it was aimed at women. I think it's just how it turned out to be. I think maybe women are more visual. I don't know. It just happens to be that most women use it, but you're very welcome as a man to pin things if you wish.
Is it easy to join? Is it easy to follow? Is it
very easy to join if you go to Pinterest.com, I believe the address. You request an invite right now, still, which is interesting that as the fastest growing site, they still request an invite. So you request an invite, give your email address. I got mine maybe within a couple of hours. They give you some suggestions of some boards. And go ahead. But if you're a brand, what you have to start thinking about is now you have a pin it button. Like you had the LinkedIn follow button or the Twitter follow me. Now you have the pin it button. So if you decide that Pinterest is good for your brand, then go get the pin it button on your site and make sure your site is optimized for images. It takes a whole new idea to web development now that it's not only SEO in keywords, but in your images too. Make sure you have a lot of bright, beautiful images.
And with the proper resolution, and that can be pinned up properly.
Flash is not friendly for Pinterest. If you have a site based mostly in Flash, Pinterest will not be your friend.
Then what would be if it's not Flash?
It would be JPEG. So I know a couple of years ago the Cartier jewelry website was done beautifully in Flash. But if I now, I don't think that site's the same as it is anymore, but if that site existed today and I saw a beautiful bracelet I wanted and I clicked pin it, there'd be actually nothing for me to pin onto my board. So you need to make sure you have JPEGs or GIFs or PNGs, whatever image type you want, on your site so people can actually pin things.
With every new technology and every new site comes new challenges and things that people have to think about that might have to redesign or revamp their own marketing strategy.
Very interesting. Stephanie Darwish, thanks very much. In a second, we'll get back to George and Eric from InFoods. We'll discuss their advice for today's entrepreneur. It's coming up to 7:53 on News Talk Radio, CJAD 800.
For professional advice with a personal touch, consult Fuller Landau, Chartered Accountants and Business Advisors. Click on flmontreal.com.
Welcome back to today's entrepreneur. Our guests this evening, George Kiris and Eric Doyon of InFoods, and Stephanie Darwish is here in charge of marketing social media for Fuller Landau. And Stephanie, we're talking about Pinterest, the fastest growing social network out there right now. And the ideas of social networks is basically to get your word about your company out there and to refer them back to your website so people can buy stuff, right? So how does Pinterest work in that respect?
Well, because it's a visual bookmarking tool, the image itself is a link. So for me, I'm actually planning my honeymoon to California using Pinterest. So any fun activities I saw in La Jolla, like kayaking in the caves, I went to this service provider's website, click pin it. Now there's a picture of the La Jolla caves. So when I click that now, it takes me back to the service provider's site. So that's the referral traffic. And actually, Pinterest's potential to drive referral traffic is better than Facebook, StumbleUpon, Google Plus, and Twitter combined, because it's actually a bookmark. It's not just a link to your site, and it's there forever and organized. So while those are great site drivers, it's interesting that Pinterest actually surpasses them.
Now, George, Eric, do you guys use any social media? Are you guys on the Facebook, the Twitters? How have you kind of embraced this to try and get your brand out there?
We have actually right now social media. We have our own blog called iaminblog.com, and we have obviously our corporate site, which is infoodsinc.com. Pinterest will be on this week live. We'll be on there with our In Cuisine, our In Snacks products.
We've got a Facebook page as well.
Yeah, we have a Facebook page as well. And with that being said, I'd like to take this opportunity to invite the listeners of CJAD to go on our Facebook. They can reach our Facebook by logging in on either In Snacks or In Cuisine, or In Snacks ;In Cuisine, which is the call letters. And we'll be offering a free bag of risotto coupon to every listener here at CJAD who logs in between now and the next 24 hours. Of our product, just to say thank you for listening to us two old guys here.
It's a good thing we're listening.
And the fact that we just want to say thank you to the listeners of CJD, and thank you to you guys for inviting us here. So whoever wants to go on either our iaminblog.com and can reach our Facebook like that, or In Snacks ;In Cuisine without an E, INCUISIN. And you're in there, and just call letter CJAD, and you've got your product.
So as we come to the end of the program, what one piece, and I'll ask both or each George and Eric, what one piece of advice would you give to today's entrepreneur?
Well, surround yourself with great people, but very importantly, surround yourself with people you like to hang around with, because you're going to spend a lot of time working together, arguing, fighting, having fun as well. But very importantly is you need to be there for the long haul and enjoy being with one another.
George?
Believe in your dreams. Believe in the fact that everything's possible. Don't look at the world and say to yourself, it's too competitive out there. My chances of succeeding are next to nothing. The truth of the matter is that if you have something great, you have something that consumers want, and you believe in yourself and believe in your products, you will succeed.
Excellent. Dan, I'll tell you the takeaways and There's so much, and certainly the passion behind the entrepreneur is there, but that's a given. So I'm going to leave that aside for the moment. The takeaway that I get from this is product, and the product is huge and paramount. That's one. The product, concentration on the product, because that's what's going to sell. The second thing, and probably equally important, is you can't keep an entrepreneur down. You can't keep them down. They went out, they built this great brand with Europe's best. They built it up from scratch. They made it fantastic. They had a phenomenal business, a great group of people, great sales, sold it, and said, you know what? Let's start something over again, because they just can't sit still. Can't sit still because the entrepreneur is part of their spirit. The entrepreneur is part of them, and the passion that they have for the products that they can bring to market are huge. So you can't keep an entrepreneur down. That is a very typical what makes up an entrepreneur. And that, to me, is what stands out in today's entrepreneur.
And the team, too, George and Eric certainly complement each other very well. Eric, sort of more serious business accounting side, and then George, louder, brasher, sales side. You guys are an interesting team, so thanks so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you for inviting us.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
And thanks to Stephanie Darwish as well from Fuller Landau. Pinterest, the new sensation. Thanks, Stephanie. And Josh, we're back next week, next Monday night at 7 p.m. You can reach Fuller Landau during business hours at 514-875-2865 or visit www.flmontreal.com.